You are replaying the breakup, turning it over and over in your head, trying to figure out what went wrong. You might even be convincing yourself you'll never find the right person. But what if your ex wasn't a mistake? What if that entire relationship was the perfect, brutal teacher you never wanted? Here is a shocking thought. On a subconscious level, you were drawn to them for a reason. To shine a giant spotlight on the hidden parts of yourself that are sabotaging your love life. And once you finally understand the lesson they were sent to teach you, you gain the power to break the cycle for good. Let's be real. After a relationship ends, your mind can feel like a war room. You replay every conversation, every fight, every silent treatment, trying to pinpoint the exact moment it all fell apart. There is this relentless inner monologue that swings from blaming them for everything to blaming yourself for not being enough. It is exhausting. And what's even more frustrating, when you start to see a pattern. The faces change, but the story feels eerily familiar. You keep attracting the same kind of person. The one who is emotionally unavailable, the one who needs fixing, the one who just can't seem to commit. It feels like you are trapped in a loop, doomed to live out the same painful story again and again. It's enough to make you feel hopeless. You might tell yourself, next time it'll be different. I know the red flags now. You write down your non-negotiables. You swear you'll choose better. But then, months or even years later, you're standing in the exact same place with a different person, but feeling the same gut-wrenching disappointment. You start to question your own judgment, your worth, and whether a healthy, lasting love is even in the cards for you. You might be asking, why does this keep happening to me? The pain isn't just the breakup, it's the pattern. The real problem isn't just that another relationship ended, it's that you feel stuck in a cycle you can't see your way out of. But what if the way out of has nothing to do with finding a different person and everything to do with looking at a different part of yourself? Because here is the hard truth. You don't attract who you want. You attract what feels familiar to your subconscious mind. Think of your subconscious as a powerful, ancient GPS. Its main goal isn't to guide you toward happiness, it's to guide you toward what it already knows, even if that what it knows is painful. Psychologists call this repetition compulsion, a fancy term for how we unconsciously recreate the emotional dramas of our past, especially from our childhood. We aren't consciously looking for partners who will let us down, but our subconscious is drawn to people who feel like home, even if home was a place of emotional instability, neglect, or chaos. Your mind is trying to finally get a different ending to a very old story. It's an unconscious shot at healing old wounds, to finally get the love you never received, or to fix what you couldn't fix as a child. So that intense magnetic pull you felt, that feeling of, I feel like I've known you my whole life, it might not have been a soulmate sign. It might have been your subconscious recognizing a familiar emotional dynamic. That person was the perfect candidate to bring your deepest unhealed wounds right up to the surface. This is why your ex was a teacher. They weren't a random choice, they were a messenger that the deepest part of you recognized. Their role was to hold up a mirror to the parts of you crying out for attention. The relationship was the classroom, the pain was the curriculum, and the only question is, are you ready to learn the lesson? If your ex was a teacher, the relationship was a pop-up course designed to expose your biggest blind spots. The curriculum is tailor-made just for you. Let's break down the three main subjects these relationships are here to teach. Our very first understanding of love is shaped by our parents or caregivers. The way we attach to them becomes a blueprint for our adult relationships, something called an attachment style. If your caregivers were inconsistent with their love, you might have an anxious attachment style, always looking for reassurance, and terrified of being abandoned. If they were distant or dismissive, you might have an avoidant style, seeing real intimacy as a threat to your independence. Sound familiar? It's why people with anxious attachment styles are so often drawn to avoidant partners. The anxious person chases connection, while the avoidant person pulls away, needing space. This creates a painful push and pull dynamic, a dance of intimacy where both people are just reenacting their oldest emotional wounds. The anxious person is trying to finally win over a distant figure, and the avoidant person is trying to protect the self-sufficiency they learned was essential for survival. Your ex was simply the perfect dance partner to show you your own steps. The brilliant psychologist Carl Jung said that we all have a shadow self. This is where we shove all our parts of ourselves we were taught are unacceptable. Our anger, neediness, vulnerability, selfishness. We don't just hide these things from other people, we hide them from ourselves. But the shadow wants to be seen. So what do? We project it. We are often magnetically drawn to people who embody the very qualities we have disowned in ourselves. If you have always been the nice one and suppressed your own voice, you might find yourself drawn to someone who is brutally outspoken. If you have denied your own needs your whole life, you might attract a partner who seems incredibly self-centered. This is why your ex could probably trigger you like no one else. The things that drove you crazy about them were often just reflections of your own disowned self. The relationship becomes a battleground where your shadow is fighting to be seen and integrated. Your ex wasn't just being themselves, they were a walking, talking mirror of the parts of you that you refuse to acknowledge. Jung believed that becoming whole means integrating these shadow parts, and your ex was the catalyst to kickstart that process. So many of us enter relationships believing deep down that love is something we have to earn. We become the fixer, the giver, the people pleaser, hoping that if we just sacrifice enough or become good enough, we'll finally be worthy of being loved. This usually comes from a place of low self-esteem, which can be a magnet for partners who take more than they give, right? Your ex might have been the ultimate professor in the subject of boundaries. They showed you exactly where yours were weak or completely non-existent. They revealed the dead end of people-pleasing. They proved you cannot fix someone into loving you. The lesson is brutal but liberating. You can only control and change yourself. The breakup often forces you to face the fact that your worth isn't tied to someone else's approval. It's an inside job. In a way, your ex-leaving was the final exam, forcing you to find validation from the only place it can ever truly come from, yourself. If any of this is starting to click and you are ready to stop repeating the same painful lessons, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. We explore the psychology of relationships and healing so you can finally build the kind of love life you actually deserve. Now look, understanding the theory is one thing, but real change happens when you put it into practice. This isn't about blaming your past, it's about taking ownership of your present. As Carl Jung suggested, understanding your history isn't an excuse to stay stuck there. Graduating from the school of hard knocks means you have to do the homework. You have to be willing to look back, but not to live there, but to connect the dots. Grab a journal and just start thinking. Think about your past partners. What were the common themes? The same arguments, the same feelings. Now go deeper. What were the emotional dynamics in your home growing up? How was love shown or wasn't? Look for the threads connecting your childhood experiences to your romantic partners. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding your own programming so you can consciously rewrite it. Now, this next part requires some radical honesty. Make a list of everything that absolutely infuriated you about your ex, the stuff that triggered you the most. And now ask yourself this tough question: where do I act this way in my own life, even just a little? Or where have I completely suppressed this quality in myself? If their emotional distance drove you crazy, are you emotionally unavailable to yourself? If their selfishness was the big issue, where have you been abandoning your own needs? This is shadow integration work. Where you own these projections, you take your power back. They're no longer your ex's flaws, they are signposts pointing you back to your own wholeness. Your subconscious GPS is drawn to what's familiar. Right now, chaotic dynamics might feel more comfortable to your nervous system than healthy ones. The only way to change this is to intentionally practice a new way of being. Start with how you treat yourself. Practice setting and holding boundaries in all areas of your life, not just with partners. Prioritize your own well-being. Start choosing to be around people who make you feel secure and respected. As you build a healthier relationship with yourself, the internal GPS will start to recalibrate. The drama of an unhealthy dynamic will begin to feel less like exciting chemistry and more like what it is: a threat to your peace. And healthy, stable love will feel less boring and more like the safety you truly crave. You are teaching your nervous system that calm is the new home. And if you are ready to turn these lessons into lasting change instead of just insights, you don't have to do it alone. Inside the Love Leaders community, you'll find tools like the Panic to Peace protocol to stabilize quickly. And if you are ready for deeper one-on-one work, you can apply for the Fresh Start 6-week protocol. You'll find both links in the description and pinned comment below. The end of a relationship can feel like a massive failure, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a graduation. That ex, the one who caused all that pain and confusion, was an unknowing catalyst for your growth. They were the perfect person to reveal the unhealed parts of you that were secretly running the show. They were the teacher you never wanted, but desperately needed. By understanding the lessons they brought to light about your attachment patterns, your shadow, your self-worth, you're no longer a victim of your past. You become the conscious creator of your future. The pain you went through doesn't have to be a life sentence of repeating the same story. It can be the very fuel that launches you into a new chapter of self-awareness and eventually into the kind of conscious, healthy love you have always wanted. The lesson has been delivered. The rest is up to you. We have all got a story like this. To help us all grow, share the biggest lesson an ex ever taught you in the comments below. Reading through them is a powerful reminder that you are not alone in this journey. Thank you very much.